There we go. Good evening, men. Thank you so much for jumping on, and a massive hello on this fine Monday. So good to have you guys here because, men, I know that for many of you, school starts back for your kids, or it could be your grandkids, or it could be people that you work with. I know that school starts back tomorrow for that, or actually within the next couple of days. And you know what I thought would be a great topic to talk about tonight is your time, your energy, and how you can dominate that. So basically, owning your day like you're a high performer. Because let's just be real, kids are a blessing, but kids are often the biggest distraction. And we often use kids as the reason why we don't do things, where we should actually be using our children as the reason why we do things. So, look, whether you've got kids at home or perhaps your kids have moved out, this will certainly be that amazing and great reminder for you to go, you know what? My time and my energy is important, and therefore I need to place it as a priority. Because the one thing that I know is that we're already halfway through 2025. You know, we're going to be at 2026 before we know it. That's just scary in saying that. Like, it's crazy to think that this year is almost coming to an end. I know that here in Australia, we finish winter within literally the next couple of weeks. I know in the US, you guys finish your summer season, as you move into your next season, which I should know, but I don't, but we'll just leave it there. But, that finishes up in the next couple of weeks. And, man, what comes with change is often like a change in routine can often be a bit of chaos. So, the purpose of tonight's training is to remind you that your time and your energy throughout your day is incredibly important. And therefore, you need to make sure that you're clearly planning your day so that way you're able to succeed. So, basically, owning your day like you're a high performer. So, man, let me ask you this. How many times have you said, I don't have time? The truth is that it's actually not about the time. It's about you making it a priority, because when you don't make it a priority, you're going to have your life rule you, not you rule your life. So we all have the same amount of time in our day. Some of you may sleep a little more than others. Some of you may work a little less than others. But man, we all have 24 hours in our day. And when we block out, let's block out sort of 8 hours there of sleep. We still have our other 16 hours there that I know that we need to, go to work. I know that we need to sort out, all the day-to-day doings of doing the dishes, cooking, laundry, etc., etc. But at the same point, we also need to carve out our time there for us to make us a priority. Because if we're not doing that, then we're not able to give our best. Because what I honestly think to myself is that I need to be the manager of my energy. Because the thing is if I'm not the manager of my energy, then I'm going to allow other people to suck the energy out of me. And when that's the case, then I'm feeling less inspired to make sure that I hit the gym. I'm feeling less inspired to cook the nutritious food that I need to cook. I'm feeling less inspired to even use my brain to create what's coming and what's next in this, in my purpose for, for me, Andy Bassett. And I know that you guys would be feeling the same, when that is the case. So the thing is that there's never going to be the right time for you to start. I love to share this with men all the time when they're like, "Oh, look, I'm." It could be a Tuesday or a Wednesday. They're like, "Yep, I'm going to go and join the gym on Monday," and I'm like, "Why would you wait until Monday to join the gym? Like, if you know what gym you're going to, or if you've got some time, like, go and do it the next day. Like, we don't need to wait till Monday, because Monday will never come." And the problem that we see here all the time is that people make empty promises, and it seems okay that people are happy to break those promises to themselves, honor them to other people, but they break them for themselves. And we need to remember that in order for us to give our best, we need to make sure that we make ourselves a priority. So, what I've got here is a couple of points here to make sure that we keep our time and energy at an all-time high, so that way we're able to dominate the day. So I like to always think to myself, okay, if I think, okay, energy first, rightio. So of a morning, what do I do when I get up? I shared this last week. I drink lots of water. It's nice to flush out the system. Drink water so that way we're starting the day feeling hydrated. It's also going to help with clarity through the mind. It's also going to, help prevent any, if there's headaches or things like that that you may suffer with. It's just a great uh, flush through the system by drinking a good half a liter of water, which that's roughly about 2 to 3 cups of water in there. So basically, looking at your morning, what is it that you do? So you're drinking water, you might get up, you might exercise. For some of you, your very routines, you may read the Bible, you may listen to a podcast, you may do some type of morning ritual to yourself that just prepares your mind and your body for the day ahead of you. Now, there's others that go, you know what, I don't use my phone for the first hour of getting up. And that's okay if that's what one of your rules are that you create around just keeping your energy at an all-time high. That's cool. That's no problem at all. I know for me, my phone is literally, and look, it's probably the same for you guys. It's probably one of those things that's just got every aspect of life that's attached to it. So for me, it's my form of communication. It's part of how I get motivated from the alarm going off. I always like to, even just watch something small and motivational or inspirational or something like that. Sometimes I call a friend, driving to the gym because it's one of those things that it's that accountability. And it's that accountability that's important for us because we need to remember that for our energy to stay up there, we've got to think, what are the things that I can do to keep my energy levels up there? So, the second thing in there is, we need to block and we need to protect. So we need to make sure that we block out the priorities that are in our days. So, for example, our training, it literally needs to be that we need to block out and protect that training space there and know that nothing's going to come in there and ruin that or disrupt that. And that's why for myself, I'm such a big believer of training in the morning because no matter what else happens throughout the day, at least you can tick that box for yourself and say, right, I've trained, I've done what I needed to do, and I'm happy. Okay, I'm feeling energized, even though I've gone back to CrossFit the last couple of weeks. I'm dead of a morning, I'm the first to say. But I tell you what, though, I'm feeling energized and I'm feeling ready to go and tackle the day. It's like breakfast can't come quick enough. It's like bring on that smoothie, that shake, bring on the food, the scrambled eggs, like, yum, 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 bring it to me because I'm there going, right, I'm fueling my body, I've moved my body, I'm ready to rock and roll. But if you talk to any of my children, talk to my wife, they're like, no, dad goes to the gym of the morning. Like, that's just what I do. I'm up somewhere between, 4 and 5 o'clock, and I go to the gym between pretty much 5 and 6. That's just what I do. So we need to make sure as well that, as we block out the priorities for our training, you'll also do that for your family, you'll do that for your work, you'll do that for your relationships, those significant others. Like, that needs to be a priority there because that affects your energy. Now, also, what you'll know is that if there's things that you have to do where you know that that sucks the energy out of you, this is where you go, oh, I've only got 2 minutes for this. Like, we all have those challenging relationships in our life. For me, I love my mother, I do, but man, like bite-sized pieces, that's what I say, because it's quite negative, and I find that my mood gets affected. So for me, I make sure that I'm driving when I'm calling her. I'm making sure that, I'm trying to keep things really positive because Who knows how hard it is to keep a conversation positive when someone's negative? Hey? Like, oh my gosh, it's like their whole intention was to wake up and just be negative and just suck the life out of you. Well, I've had to learn over, I'm 39 years of age now, so I've moved out of home for more 21 years now. I've had to learn how to manage, that aspect of that relationship there. And I'm just being really real with you guys. Like, we're all the same. We've all got those relationships that are challenging that we need to manage in there. Because the other thing that comes from managing those relationships is we've also got to eliminate the distractions, notifications. It could be the endless open tabs, the scroll hole, as I like to call it, on social media. Sometimes these things are energy draining. And I'm the first to admit, like sometimes, and for me, it's often like a Saturday afternoon. It's like I've done my bit during the morning, had lunch. I might just sit down on the lounge, lie down in the beanbag, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a 30-minute scroll hole and just laugh at reels on Facebook or Instagram. Hey, it's like sometimes that's fun to do, but I'm able to protect that and just note that I'm doing that, and I'm aware of it. It's not something that I do every single day. I'm not there spending hours on doing that because I know that that does affect my energy. So, one of the other things that I'm also a big believer in is that if it's not scheduled, then it doesn't exist. And what I mean by that is um, I am a planner. I do have my schedule here in front of me. As much as I do aspects of digital, I love physically writing things down. I'm a little bit old school because I love to be able to get creative with that, and I know where I can add this and add that and tweak this and tweak that. But for me, what this does is this is that reminder for me that it keeps me on task. Because if it's not on task, I could have a friend call me up on a Wednesday night and say, "Oh, hey Andy, come for a well, it wouldn't be come for a drink because I'm a non-drinker as such, but it could be come and hang out, come and socialize, 8:39 p.m. on a Wednesday night." And I'm thinking, well, no, like that doesn't suit me because I've got to be up because, at 6 a.m. on a Thursday morning, I teach a class. It's not beneficial for my health and for my routine for me to be out until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then turn around and then get back up at 4:30, for my commitments there. So the only person that's going to protect your energy and protect your schedule is yourself. Because I know that if I gave my schedule to my wife, oh my gosh, come on, man, you've got to agree with me with this. Who knows if they gave their schedule to their wife, that all those lists and all those to-do jobs that need doing around the house, would they be on there? They would be on there and it would be there going, you need to make sure this is done. This is done here. I've been asking about this. I've been asking about that. So these are the things that we know. So this is why we need to block and we need to protect, because if we're not giving our best and giving ourselves our best, then we're not able to give our best to our loved ones. And then the third part here is the recovery and recharge, because men burn out not only from working too much, but also from never unplugging. And I'm saying when we look at this phone, this amazing device that literally allows us to make phone calls internationally. We can work from it. We can send emails. We can create videos, content, marketing. We can do absolutely everything from this one device here. And it becomes addictive. And we get to that point where we just feel drained and exhausted because we haven't been able to unplug. So I'm someone that my notifications go off as soon as I put it in either sleep mode, or actually I think they go off automatically from maybe it's 9 p.m. But basically, you know, nothing's that important. My family's with me. nothing's that important, and it allows my brain and my body to recharge. So we need to make sure that we get the sleep. We also need to make sure that by having the quality of sleep there as well, it helps us to execute more energy. That's the thing. Like, I'm the first to say that yesterday I was drained with energy. Yes, I had a lot of physical commitment with classes there, but I actually had to sleep in the middle of the day for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And my energy was down then. Like, I shouldn't have slept that long. It should have been only a 20-minute power nap, but it was more than that. And that affected things moving forward. And then what did I find that I was doing? I was in bed last night at 8:30 p.m. Sometimes the body will tell you exactly what it needs, but we need to make sure that we're sleeping to protect the energy so we can execute at a high level. The third thing that comes under that as well with the recovery and recharge is that we need to create some rules around protecting our evenings. We need to make sure that we're winding down. Is it great to be, all hyped up at 10 p.m. of a night time, and then you find that, okay, oh, now I've got to sleep, and you're laying there in bed and your mind's still ticking over and you can't get to sleep. So this is where we might need to create a rule around that. For some people, I know some people go, right, I don't look at my phone after 8 p.m. of a night time. I've got a friend that doesn't actually look at his phone after 5 p.m. Admittedly, he goes to bed at 8 p.m. of a night time, but he's just like, no, after 5 p.m., done. Because he's up at 3:30 in the morning. So, men, just coming back to it, that question is, how many times have you said that I don't have time for this? Or how many times have you said, oh, I haven't even got time for a quick workout today because our schedule has just blown out? The reality is that no one else is going to protect your time and your energy other than you. So we need to protect it in order to dominate like that high performer. Because, man, I want you to not only succeed in your health and fitness, I want you to succeed in your personal life. I want you to succeed in your professional life. I want every single one of you to dominate with your job, with your role. You're all leaders. You're all part of different communities. And when you can protect the energy, your time, within your body, within your schedule, then you're able to dominate and own your day like that high performer. So, man, I trust that, that this has been able to help you just as that reminder to go, right, maybe this is something that I do need to be mindful of. What is your wind down routine of a night time? Are you someone that takes a shower and then basically, that just lowers everything down and then you're straight into bed? Are you someone that needs to start having a shower of a night time? That could be another thought there. Are you someone that needs to go, right, I'm not going to be on my phone half an hour before going to bed? I've got the blue light glasses that, when I've particularly had, quite bad headaches, I would wear those from normally sort of around that 7 p.m. of a night time, because, obviously looking at screens for several hours during the day, I would find that, headaches would creep in. And when a headache creeps in, let's just be real. Do you want to do anything? No, nothing at all. So, rightio, man. Thank you so much. That's it for tonight. Have an amazing, amazing night. Let's protect our energy. Let's dominate our schedule. And yeah, look, man, keep on working out. Keep on smashing your goals. Let's do this.